everything going on in Washington, we can't subpoena the FBI about threatening some civilian. I'm sure they had a perfectly valid reason other than working for Saudi Arabia. The power, the authority, the high office of a colonial fascist Islamic state. There's not one FBI. You go to Orlando and you meet one set of characters. You go to Fort Pierce. Fort Pierce is gone. I'd rather kept Fort Pierce than Miami. Miami's a bunch of communists. Florida Department of Law Enforcement looked troubled. A little troubled. He gave him his card and everything. What? I lost a probation officer along the way. I don't know if anybody's keeping track. People need to realize, like, when you sign up for the government, it's not because you heard you could be a big dickhead. You don't sign up to become an asshole. The screening process to prevent people who are already assholes from signing up may leave something to be desired. And being an asshole is an inherent part of the job. It's government. Not everybody is always going to like the services that you have to provide at any given time. But whether you're a greenhorn or a seasoned vet, if you're not an unwashed, gaping, zombie asshole, then you should resent what Donald Trump has done to this country. When I was a kid, he wrote a book called The Art of the Deal, and I never read it. But I presume, unless it was blatant lies, fabricated fiction, that it goes something like, you contract renovators, and then you wait until they're finished and declare bankruptcy, stiff them, and walk with a profit. He wrote the book on bankruptcy for profit, and he's got 7 of them. He may as well teach classes. But I don't think he could if he wanted to. The man can't even run a poker pit in his own casinos. Why he keeps going bankrupt. Why he makes more going bankrupt than he does running a casino. So what's this guy do? Does he go to the homeland? Does he go to Deutschland and say, hey, Deutsche Bank, can I get a loan? No, he goes to the Muslims. And since he didn't technically molest the child personally, they just blame the Italians and use it to take over the casinos, give them to the cops. Now we're publicly subsidizing international Muslim corporate bankruptcies, turn it into a campaign fund. If you're not an unwashed, gaping zombie asshole and you feel outnumbered, this is going to be why. First, do no harm, or you're not a diplomat. I usually say doctor. Diplomats include judges, technically priests, I think. Yeah, priests, artists, celebrities. But in an official position, you function on behalf of the flock, be it the state or the church. Senate, not so much. A senator goes to a foreign country. He's not so much an ambassador as he is a senator. Senator says, I want that. We get it. But if you're a doctor, you keep your nose clean. You watch your ass. Going around cutting deals willy-nilly with the Muslims, let alone some slumlord. Some puritanical, German Protestant, lily-white Muslim skin puppet for the zombie apocalypse. You see, every religion has the opposite. Being a good guy doesn't work out for everybody. See, Catholics, well, that's all well and good, but I gotta feed my family. But the reason that the Mexican cartels, if they find a cop undercover in their organization, the whole village has to stick a knife in them to prove that they are not a cartel. So you don't know what a cartel is. They have to prove that they are not working with the police. Islam recognizes no distinction between church and state. So Protestantism, being the Germans' reaction to being invaded by Muslims, fire with fire, Muslim games, Muslim prizes, you shall know them by their fruits. Lily white Muslims. He started out with an entourage. He even had a Jew on his crew. But he had no qualms about just using the cops for his own personal muscle. Not against his religion. So maybe Protestants shouldn't own casinos. It's not very kingly, Your Majesty. Casino's a palace by crusade law. Gambling house, a parlor. is a palace. A prison is a dungeon. That's a castle. Not only do we not have to compete on this level, we can't. It's illegal. All these corporate profiteer prisons on the land are a direct challenge to the democracy itself. And I mean, what's next? We may as well have corporate military bases right here in America. It's the same school of law. But you're not going to shoot up our schools for 30 years and then take away our goddamn guns. See, I know enough about Islam and Protestantism where I don't care about Satanism. I know enough about Satanism that I don't care about that anyway, but, like, Satanism is stupid. You're a fool. You worship the Prince of Deception as the source of your eternal truth. Your universal and eternal truth comes from the Prince of Deception. I know all I need to know. More likely, it's like Islam where everybody just has to be stupider than you so you can stay in charge. Brains! Brains! Oh, this guy's smarter than our owner. Kill him! And it would be one thing if this corporate Moloch and its golem of a government registered pain. You have been defeated in lawful combat. Jerusalem, beloved Roma, I can't possibly rape all these Protestants by myself. So I call upon the Supreme Court. That's just their terminology. There's nothing sexual about it. That's their modus operandi. Rape a newlywed bride on her honeymoon. Cast doubt upon the inheritance of the offspring. Call it prima nocta so people think it's Latin. It must be us. Donald Trump is a moron and a bully and a traitor. But he sings a sweet song. The zombie apocalypse loves him. Making fun of crippled journalists on the news. People cheer for him. They deserve to die. All we have to do is tighten up. All we have to do is be ethically defensible and then make an example of him to demonstrate our worthiness. Reassure our allies and anybody out there worth carrying what they think that we have some redeemable quality here. And I would probably begin by, gun-free school zone. You can't put a daycare in an armory and act like it's not a military target. You can't put an armory in a hospital and act like it's illegal. It's not a soft target. It has an armory in it. We're losing multiple holy wars. The war on crime, the war on drugs, the war on terror. These are holy wars. People act like religion's fake, so they just don't have to pay attention to the rules. Religion is real enough. Whether or not you believe in God, there's an awful lot of people out there with religion. This is why priests don't carry guns, generally speaking, unless that's what kind of priest they are. But, a man of the cloth is a man of the cloth, not a man of the steel. Generally taboo to shoot one of them because they're not armed. Man of the book. Taliban means student. Qaeda, it turns out, means leadership and or the list, if the British are to be believed. Roster, faculty. They're trying to tell us something, Your Honors. And Islam, they count coup. It's a glory to Allah. Allahu Akbar. Yell Allahu Akbar while you kick their ass, and they're like, "Wow, is it one of ours?" I've never evaded prosecution. I presume they said I did because I have been to various agencies, field offices, duty stations for, just trying to get a sit down, and I've been rebuffed. I had to figure all this out on my own. Well, guess what? Now it's all mine. Clarence Thomas, the Honorable Clarence Thomas, said he would rather die than give up. And, it's come to my awareness that his agenda may be not exactly parallel to my own, but if he was presented with a viable a solution to whatever reasons he might have for not wanting to see this thing work out, I have said in the past that if the Secret Service if they knew what I know, they would shoot Trump themselves on live TV, because we all swore an oath, a service, or office. The wording is slightly different, but they both include all enemies, foreign and domestic. So it would be heresy for them not to. And it would probably clear up a lot of our financial issues. And it is all about the money, but it's all about keeping the money spending. Being a Jackson, I'd rather get 2 hot dogs for $1 than have $2 for the same and somebody else not eat. Your Honors, I have had homos and foreign retards follow me around my entire life. You know these gambling types? World's biggest deadbeat gives all the casinos to the cops. Bankruptcy after bankruptcy, richer and richer, billionaire. United Nations population credit is backed in our asses. But if you don't comply with Geneva Convention, what business do you have collecting our UN population credit? If I could, I would ask Justice Thomas if he's ever read the Gospel of Thomas. If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth shall save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. I prefer not to testify against the military outside chain of command. That's why I was asking for Jack. I don't believe in classified leaks. I believe in whistleblowers and spies. Has Trump ever served? What's he doing with his hand in our pocket? Final thought, Exodus 32:20. And he took the calf which they had made, and burnt it in the fire, and ground it to powder, and strawed it upon the water, and made the children of Israel drink of it. Psychological coercion is a violation of Geneva Convention, but you cannot ban enhanced interrogation. Having traced plausibly deniable threats from the FBI to Riyadh to a major international lens manufacturing and development lab at our country's most prestigious, spotless university itself. In the context of a ban on waterboarding and the National Defense Authorization Act, putting cameras on every street corner so the Taliban could watch us lose a holy war. I don't have to pick a side. I don't have to join you. You want to join me. Donald Trump's pet police alleged that the North American Man-Boy Love Association molested 87,000 Boy Scouts so they could sell Teddy Roosevelt's land grants, including Mount Rushmore, to China. mfrodeo.blogspot.com. My first rodeo. I can't wait.